All right, let me turn this off. Uh, just a quick intro, guys. Just wanted to actually apologize for this unplanned interruption to Project B90, but I'm just waiting on some parts to come in. Plus, I wanted to take any chance I could to play just a little bit, since the other guitar over there is in pieces. Can't play that one. And I did have a little unboxing, and I'm sorry, I can't wait till the project is done to do an unboxing for you guys. So if you will join me over at the bench for a minute, because there is absolutely no room over here for a box the size that I'm going to show you. So we'll be right back. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me again. As promised, this will be the unboxing portion. And I know you're not seeing a box. I'm trying something a little new with my setup over here on the bench too. So when we do get back to Project B90, hopefully this will be a little bit better quality for you guys to see what I'm doing versus what I had cobbled together before. So I'm going to switch to the overhead cam so you guys can see the box in question. All right, let me just redo this because I want you guys to see a little bit of this. See, it's a big box, so this is a little awkward. This is why I couldn't do it at the desk. I did cut the tape, but I haven't looked at stuff. I'm a little bit concerned about some of this, but obviously by the shape of this box, this is uh, not a guitar. I know what it is in here. It's a guitar, sort of, but not in the way that you're thinking. So let me get the box open. If I can get this out of the way without making a complete mess of everything else on my setup here. Aha! All right. So it apparently looks like it came in a styrofoam coffin of some sort. Is that looking awful dark for you guys, or is that just me? I'll have to see. Hopefully, if I have to clean that up, I will. Thought we had enough light. So you're seeing a guitar-shaped object. I'm going to hide the sheet over here. So what this is, I've been trying to be good about a bunch of things, but just for budget-wise, for a lot of things going on, no need to go into that. But it is not an ACLOT kit. That wasn't within my budget. However, the Bald Shredder had a Temu haul recently, and he posted a $20 coupon, which actually worked without jumping through 1,000 hoops. So I thought, all right, let's go online and see what we've got and what we can get. And what I came up with, and you guys can probably already kind of tell from looking at it through the foam. I'm just curious as to what the shape of everything is. This will just be going over what we've got, and then I'm going to discuss what the plan is going to be. So what we have is a bass kit. I've been wanting a bass and needing a bass, but I've also been wanting to do a kit, so this kind of scratches two itches at once for me. Um, Not too bad. Oh, I see we've got a little mutts there. I don't know, is that the... Oh, I'm betting you that's where the ground wire comes through for the bridge. We'll just double check all the hardware. Pick guards, got the wrap on it. There's got to be another pickup going in here somewhere in the mix because it is a two pick guard bass. Two pickup bass, and that is what it's going to look like when I'm done with it, ideally. So now I got to look through the rest of this stuff. I think we should check out the neck. I'm just going to set this aside and I'll pack everything back up. As you can see too, this is a kit with the quick connects. So this is going to be handy. I think one of the first things I'm going to do is just put everything together to make sure it all is fit and function, and where I'm going to have to make some changes before I put everything together, or get everything set up. So let me set this aside and we can talk about the neck, which is here. There's the end. Gigantic holes for bass tuners. Pretty standard, generic headstock shape. I am thinking that this might be an unbranded Flari or Kitaxon, same deal. I'm not seeing anything on the branding or instructions, though, to verify whether that is or not. So I'll have to do a little research and see if I can find out what kind of kit this is. But let's take a look at the neck. We have what looks to be a plastic nut, and I think a rosewood fretboard. There was not a whole lot in the way of specs on Temu. But it's a nice looking fretboard. It feels pretty dry and rough, so that'll be one thing that we'll have to do is condition it. Um, Actually, the frets, at least the fret ends, aren't that bad. I can I can feel them a little bit, but there's nothing like it's going to slice my hand up. Uh, Sorry, just realized I was feeling everything outside of the view of the camera. There we go. So the fret ends, let's just repeat everything. The fret ends themselves aren't bad. The neck looks a little dry. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's got some good figuring in the wood. And frets seem to be a little dirty, so I'll probably polish those up as we condition the board before we put everything together, just so I can see how it plays. And then also can take it apart before we're going to finish everything and let the neck settle a bit before I check the frets. Seem to be a pretty medium size as far as base frets go. They're not super tall, but we'll see how it goes. So 20 frets, 21 frets. I mean, I guess if you count the last one. I don't know if that's normal for a base. Neck feels pretty good. It could use a little sanding and conditioning. But everything seems to be in good shape there. There's a couple little nibs on the holes. I'll have to see if the screws are threading into that and whether I have to do any work on the body pockets. We want it to thread into the neck. Sorry, that was not exactly what I meant. But I am going to file off those nibs, and I bet you that neck pocket. Let me pull that body back up here. Take a look in that neck pocket. It looks relatively clean. There's some weirdness going on. It looks like they used a Dremel with the plastic coating on. I'll have to see if I can take a little sandpaper and smooth that out. It's a little rough looking. Yeah, little nibs. I'll have to take a file to get those off of there, but otherwise, fret pocket feels okay. It might take some really fine grit sandpaper just to smooth that out a little bit before we do everything. But we'll throw everything together and see how it fits and how it sounds. I'm sure this is going to be an upcoming project in the future once I put it together. Also, once I figure out what I want to do for paint. So let's see what else we get. We got a strap. We have a pretty generic cable, Allen wrench, decent size Allen wrench. That's good. We have all of our parts and pieces. Whoa, okay. That's why this is awkward. This is not going to fit. So I'm not going to. Let's just set this box aside so I can start taking some of those parts out without a box falling into my lap. And then we'll put it back together because it's going to sit that way till Project P90 is done. All right, let's get back to a more direct overhead view, a little easier for both of us to look at. And we'll pull everything out of here. This is some heavy, heavy hardware. All right, we've got the control plate with some dime-sized pots, and you know what? I'm not even mad about that. Have to rearrange some of the wiring when we do it so that pretty standard output jack. That might be something I might replace with a pure tone. We'll see how it goes. The knobs, there's the ground wire. The knobs feel all right though. Turning smoothly, they don't feel gritty at all. Obviously no push-pull because these are bass pickups. I imagine you could get bass pickups that have a push-pull on them. There's the other pickup stuck to one of the tuning knobs. Pretty standard looking. Quick connect again. I'm going to have to look through those instructions to see if I can find anything. Pretty standard. Oh, these are split top tuners. I've never used those before on anything. Tuners feel a little bit tight. I don't know if that's all of them. We'll just look at one. Pretty standard open tuner. This is probably something that I would look at replacing in the future. Just I'm not a huge fan of open gear tuners. I don't know how bass I haven't shopped for base tuners or strings anytime soon. I have a feeling the strings are going to be expensive based on what I've seen from some of my friends. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on the kit bandwagon, and this seemed like a good way to do it. So, all right, we've got tuners, we've got the strings that are in there. I'm not going to pull those out. Another tuner, one more tuner. There we've got the bridge with the barrel saddles. They look like they should be. Yeah, you can compensate them. So hopefully I can get this to intonate properly. And we'll see action-wise how it goes. Again, I'm going to have to do some Google detective work to see what action on a bass is preferred. More parts of the tuning hardware. All good. Back plate with the little plastic cushion under it. I can't tell if that's attached or not. I guess I'll put it together with that on it, and if I don't like it, I can try it without. I don't know what your guys' feelings are on using that back plate on the tuner or not. More screws and a piece of foam. I'm assuming this is for the pickup mounting. Strap knobs. Pretty standard. And I'm going to assume these are the neck screws. And they all look to be the same size, so no weirdness with some of them being shorter. It did not look like it's not a beveled neck pocket. So the strings. All right. So I'll put this all back together off camera, but let me bring the body back up here. I'm not so certain what I want to do with this. I don't know if you can tell very well. It's not like a flamed top at all. It's just a standard piece of wood. The instructions. Let me look at those again. I'm gonna have to look under the standard piece of foam to see if there are any major instructions. It's please refer to the installation video for more information. I'll have to look at that and see if there's any clue as to what branding this was. If I do find it before I post this, I'll throw up a note right now. Install the tuning machines, join the neck to the body, install the pickups. Not a lot of install the bridge, roll the strings. Something seems to have suffered in translation here. So I have a feeling, unlike a lot of the Acklot kits, this is something I'm going to be on my own with. So I may be reaching out to a lot of you folks in the community, see if I'm missing something. We've got string retainers, strap buttons, the plug-in connected in the same color. Plug-in. Plug-in. All right. So I guess it's going to be color coded. I hope. Although we've got red and yellow, red and green. Red. Okay, yeah, I see they're matching. I'll just have to figure out where and how to get that grounding cable up there on my own. So all right, that aside, the instructions look fairly simple. I need to see. This feels, I don't know, semi heavy. I don't know if this is basswood or something else. But there's a decent amount of grain on it. It looks to be, at least from what I'm looking at least a 3-piece, maybe 4-piece body. I see one seam line here for sure, possibly one over here, but it doesn't look bad. I'll look for the comments if you guys can tell me how to tell if there's any kind of sanding sealer on here. I'm gonna have to sand it anyways because I can feel it's not great. But I do want to put some kind of stain on the back and sides. I was thinking like a darker, maybe chocolate of some sort. And then on the top, I'm not sure what I want to do. I think with this rounded edge up here, I'm wondering, do I want to tape off where it's straight, or the top, and just do the sides in the darker color, and then the top? I'm going to have to look and see what I want to do for a color up there, if I want a color, or should it be like a blue or a purple stain or something, or should I stick with a more natural wood, considering what this is? I'm not going to do anything fancy like trying to do a burst or anything. And then following Brant's example from his successful Aclock kit, I think I'm going to go with just sanding, dye, true oil, more sanding, and lots more true oil, and see if that gets me a nice looking finish. I'll have to do some thinking on this. I've got time because Project P90 is going to take a while. All right. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you coming along. I appreciate you putting up with the interruption to Project P90. Uh, it is what it is. I was waiting on parts. And then we'll get back to that. And then I think this is going to be next. I think it's going to be a couple series of videos. I think the first one is just going to be a quick put it together and see how everything fits together. Put on the strings, see if I can get any noise out of it. I'm going to try and save those strings because, as I understand it, I think bass strings are rather expensive. I'm going to take my calipers and try and get a measurement on what these strings are so I can see. I imagine just like guitars, there's different gauges. So I'll probably stick with whatever we've got here, but in a better brand, maybe Diodario or something, for when I actually want to set it up to play it. But that'll be cool. I'll actually have a bass now for doing my own music, backing tracks, etc. So, all right. I hope everybody's having a great week. I hope everybody is staying warm. It is colder than hell here in Wisconsin, and we will see you next time.